So what's going on with this car at LSfest?
Yeah, so this is a 2014 Stingray. Funny enough, it's actually the first C7 we ever built, way back in the day. This car was owned by a guy named Josh. We brought it came from Washington, brought it in. We developed our headers we just don't make them anymore, but for the C7s, we developed our heads cam package on this car. We were the first to try the ECS kit with like a Novi 2200R. There was a lot of firsts on this car, and it was one that just kind of always kept evolving and progressed through, and we learned a lot on this vehicle. It switched hands, and Eric had us do what's in it now. It's a 427 engine done by Late Model Engines. It has, it's a sleeve block, it's got a solid roller camshaft. It actually has OEM LT4 heads that are ported, because this was done before CIDs were even a thing. It does have their billet intake manifold. It has a ProCharger F1X system on it, and then it has our in-house air-to-water intercooler we make. So the system that we sell and ship out, this was actually developed on this car and fixtured on this vehicle. The car originally was a stick shift vehicle, and we did some half mile and stuff like that with it, and then the decision was made to convert it over to a Power Glide setup. So it has an RPM transmissions, Power Glide, it has a Pro Torque converter in it, and then it has their 9-inch IRS conversion as well in the vehicle. We have a 15-inch rear kit on it. We've got a Vasco Speed parachute kit with our parachute handle that we make for the C7s. Has a Carlisle Racing drag wing on it, trunk ice tank. It has an 850 cage in the vehicle. What else? Has a Crawford Dominator port injection port injection system on the car. Runs on 1 ethanol R fuel. The car has a pair of Tillet seats in it, but other than that, it's full interior minus the seats. It still has AC. It has, nothing's deleted out of the car in that regards of it. The car in Tucson in 5100 DA has run a best of 8.3 at 167, just leaving off the foot brake. First time out with it on the Glide, just kind of, seeing what it would do. It does have Menser coilovers, so we were kind of playing around with those a little bit. In LSfest, really just kind of hoping to run the car a little bit more. We're gonna have it in the 8th mile 550 index class. So can't really run faster than a 550 in the 8th. Everything this year seems to be kind of index-based racing. So we'll kind of see how the car does. I'm gonna run it in the open, just kind of a test and tune and see what it does. So we might have to put the filter on it to slow the car down as well, and maybe play some timing tricks to try to keep it in that 550 index, But
it's not a bad problem having to slow a car down.
No, I love this car. This is one that, out of every vehicle, I think this is what really kind of put us over the edge, because when we built this originally, it made 840 on the stock bottom end, and it did it for like 13,000 miles. People were blowing them up left and right at like 600 wheel, and this one just kept going and going and going, and it really kind of solidified why we are so good at these, not to sound arrogant about it, but why we're able to put together combos like this on the LT platforms, and they just go out and run times right away. There's not really anything for us to figure out on them. We've got proven combos to where you could call us up and say, I want to go run low 8s. We can put it together. A build like this now, we can turn them around in about 2 weeks, start to finish. We pre-bring in the motor and everything, so if we're sending yours out, it'll be a little bit slower, but we pre-bring in the motor, everything else, it's a 2-week turnaround on a combo like this. You can literally go run it at the track, and in high DA, go run a bottom 8 in a car that you can drive on the street, So it's pretty fun. Everything under the hood, it's pretty showy on it. It's kind of dirty. We ran it in Tucson recently. We just washed the exterior, but it's kind of dusty under the hood. This car, a few notable things under it. It has our radiator tank that we make. It's really common that the factory C7 ones split on people, so that's why we make that guy. You've got the LME billet intake manifold, their valve covers. We run the amp breather on all of our big power ProCharger stuff. F1X ProCharger, like I was saying, we run it on a 4.5 pulley. A lot of the guys run 4.25s and run about the same times. We've just found 4.5 can get the job done, and belt life is way better on it. We're not breaking belts every single pass on a 4.5 with this.
So we got this one going to LSfest, and which other ones?
Yeah, we got this, our tuner Nick's C6Z, the one that went 7s on the stock computer. It's a C6Z, low mount twin setup, full exhaust, glide, LME motor, AC. I mean, it is realistically a very much street car. And like I said, it's gone 780s on the stock computer, full exhaust, nothing out the hood, you know, shooting fireballs or anything goofy, which is fine, you know, but he just didn't want that. We've also got our main tech Tom's 4th gen F body going. It's an NA combo that previously here has gone 10-4. It's a really aggressive heads cam setup. It's actually still a 10 bolt in it. It is a 4L60. We pulled a little bit of weight out of it, but the problem is he's going to be playing the ET game because of the indexes. So we're not sure if we're going to shoot for a 10.5 class or an 11.0 class and just add some weight, pull timing, stuff like that. So we're just unsure what we're going to do. He'll make some hits and see what it runs, and then we'll pick what class. The other car coming is going to be Chris Moffitt in his SS sedan that we did. It's got a Magnuson 2650, fuel system, ice tank, all the things that would go along with it. That car is made 820-ish wheel, and it's gone, I think, 10.1 here. 10.1 or 10.2, something like that.
That's the maroonish one on the porch.
Yeah, the wrapped one. Yep. So he's going to be up there running. Curious to see what it does up there. You know, I've found that Vegas seems to be about as quick as Tucson is because of the DAs up there. And the downfall though is you'll have a lot of guys on street tires, so it'll pull up the prep pretty quick. So we won't be able to get super aggressive with cars or anything off the line. You know, it's definitely rare to see anybody cut a 1/160 at LSfest West or anything. But he's gonna go up there, have fun, probably run, you know, the 10.5 class, and maybe we'll just pull some timing out of it or something. Or if he's right there at a 10.0 there, who knows? But he'll make that decision when he gets up there, what class he's gonna run. One thing I forgot to say, you guys probably noticed in the video I'm saying it's a 2014 Stingray and it's full wide body. This car's actually got a 100% OEM Z06 wide body conversion on it. So the fenders, the bumper, the front fenders, side skirts, no, those are Weapon X, but all the body panels are 100% OEM GM Z06. Our good friends at Elite Automotive Finishes are the ones that actually did that, all of our paint stuff for us, and they did the entire conversion on the vehicle.
Cut a little length off of this end, cut it right down the middle, pivot, and then cut this one the length. Pretty rugged, and what we'll do is we'll just put it up there and make sure it's close to what it needs to be, and then fit the other one, get it as close as possible, and then we'll prep all the edges. Not really. A hella! Just kidding. So, this is our new 2.5-inch setup. The customer had a 3-inch setup before. This is a reducer down here. Throughout here, it was hitting on his sway bar, or anti-roll bar. As you can see, it's over there. You kind of had to bash it up, single tips. So the customer wanted to switch to these dual tips and also eliminate the rattling. So that's what we did for him.
This is one of the big builds we got going on right now. This is Frank's. Previously a 427 hydraulic roller pro charged car that had our air to water on it. Went 8.2, so pretty fast. Got a power glide in it, 9-inch. Mensers on all 4 corners. And then this round we wanted a bit more, so started out with going to twin 7675s, and then we decided the motor wasn't going to be enough to max the turbos out, so it has we sent out the motor, swapped the internals over to a billet Noonan block. So it's got all the bad internals in it. CID heads. Waited quite a while on the motor, but now that we have it back, going through the whole rest of the car. Previously it was on full stock ECU. Now it's on a full Motec. So we'll have a lot more control over everything. Still power glide, 9-inch. Getting rid of the DI on this setup. It'll be strictly on port injection. We built the whole hot side, the intercooler, moved the radiator way forward. Got a remote mount water pump now. So cleaning up a lot of stuff. I've been going through the entire stock harness on it and getting rid of all the things that we're no longer going to be using on it and tucking it all away. So just about everything on here is going to be changed from how it was. Pretty much starting from scratch again, minus the transmission. Like I said, we're deleting all the stuff that not needed to go fast. So ABS is gone. A lot of the evap stuff, like I said. It's pretty much basic now. It's going to be more or less a carbon copy of Joe C5 that we did, except in a C7. So, hoping to go well into the 7s, maybe bottom 7s with it. Got quite a bit left on it to do, but we're getting there. Lots of little trick little things that we've been doing on it. Moved the fuse block to get a little bit more room. Built our own air to water system where the cold side is super short and can't really blow any couplers or anything like that, so one less thing to worry about. Still going to be using the factory dry sump, but now it's solid roller. Like I said, it has the billet Noonan block now, so everything in this setup is should be well capable of making pretty close to 2,000 wheel. So it's going to probably be quite a while before Frank's ready to drive that and we're actually making everything work. We'll probably go back out at like 1200, I imagine, and get it dialed and see how fast we can get it going. So this car only has 850 cage in it. That's probably the range that he'll more than likely race in all the time, just because that's easier on the car to run 850s than it is to run mid 7s. So something we hope to keep together for a while, and he can race and not worry about going through the motor every couple race events. So that's the goal. Run bottom 8s, mid 8s, consistently have fun, be able to turn it up and go 7s, mid 7s hopefully. That's a basic rundown on it. We'll have a Neil Chance converter in it. His last one we had with the Pro Charger setup worked real well. So we're going with it again, just a little bit different for this setup. And it'll be air shifted. It'll be on CO2. So it should be a fast one when we're done. Lots of little fab things we're doing on it, so keeping us all busy. So part of a lot of the little things that we're doing on this is made to make it easy to work on. Obviously race cars break, there's no way around that, even the best parts fail. So everything we can do to make it easy to get big items like motor, transmission, that kind of things out, we're doing it. It's worth putting the time in up front to get it, save a bunch of time when it's needed to make a race. So a bunch of little stuff that we did is like changing the brake lines around. Obviously we deleted the ABS, so we're gonna have to build brake lines anyways. So we moved everything to where it's away from heat. the line locks down inside the fender, and all the brake lines run along the frame rail underneath. So it's all out of the way of everything. In the back, the factory C7 brake lines go down the tunnel and then actually go underneath the transmission. Since we redid all of it, they actually go down the tunnel and then go up over the transmission. So it's one less thing that you have to drop out of the way to get the trans out. Along with that, we'll be moving all the trans cooler lines, everything like that in the back, just to help with, you know, getting the trans and the torque tube out if need be. Just to cut it down as fast as we can. If trans breaks or anything like that, we can get it in and out and back together and racing. And hopefully the goal is like be half the time it normally would take. You know, all the little stuff like that, it takes time the first go around, but in the long run, if you're going to be racing it, it all pays off just to be able to do repairs that much faster.
So I know basic rundown, but can we go a little into depth on?
So Danny brought this ZR1 to us from Vegas. He wanted to do heads cam and all that. We baselined it and it made almost stock power numbers, and it had headers, pulley, intake, injectors. It had a combo that should have made like 620, 630-ish to the wheels, but it was way down. So we cut open the oil filter and it was just covered in metal. So contacted them, the decision was made, yank the motor, have it rebuilt. We sent it to our friends at Late Model Engines. They did a set of diamond pistons that are meant to go on the stock rods. So we kept the stock rods, stock crank, because they're crazy strong on these cars. So we did a 10-to-1 compression piston. We did our normal heads cam. The snout was already kind of worked over by Kong. And he had his like modified snout where he like cuts it and puts a big piece on it. So he wanted to send the blower to Kong to do his new export. Cool, no problem. So shipped it there. We reinforced the intercooler bricks. He already had Kong's big intake, so we did that. We did our auxiliary fuel system. We did our trunk tank. We did the Edelbrock heat exchanger, and we modified it for 1-inch lines in and out. We did some Synergy water manifold inlets for the lid. Some of our custom fabricated Y fittings to make everything look really nice and tidy. Flex fuel kit from DSX. We did a Mighty Mouse catch can, and then a Monster triple clutch. That's really about it. It doesn't have meth on it, so 91 octane is going to be just a, man, this is to get you home. You know, it's no way to, you know, to actually be able to beat on it or anything safely, because it does have a 235 upper and a 14% lower, so that's the pulley everybody does to basically max these things out and everything. But yeah, now we're tuning it, and we'll just get kind of the pump gas stuff done and then go into the ethanol and see what it makes. I mean, it's better, but...
Yeah, it's going to get better as we go, just getting heat in the tires and everything, but I don't think these tires are up to the task.
Yeah. That's fine. Throw some bodies in there.
It's doing actually okay on 91.
Don't push it. Don't be a punk
No, we're not going to put time in. We're at like 12 degrees. It's going to be to get from point A to point B.
Perfect. Now let's throw some timing in to see what happens.
Well, let's get fuel.
No, I know.
Yeah.
E.
Okay.
That's what I meant. And he can stay in there, I'll do the E.
Oh, okay.
Are you ready for it?
Yeah.
It's pretty good. 800.
For good old shit 91. Not bad.
That's compression, brother. Wow. What? That's a lot. If I put a 2.2 on that, I bet it crack 1,000. That is impressive out of the 2300.
Big time.
Alright, I'm going to overlay it with curls because I'm an asshole.